Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel. It is Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat. And today I am showing you guys this station here, which is actually, well, originally started as sort of a scientific research station was my idea behind it. But I actually kept on building and decided it would probably be a multi-purpose station that could basically be used as a basic colony station, where you could set it up wherever you'd like, and the people on board would live on board and work on board, maybe even, leave to go do research in a nearby station or in asteroid bases nearby or anything like that, or even just do their research up here or whatever their job is really up here. And I'll go through the basics of it. Now, if we fly all the way up to the top here, originally this station was supposed to be maybe 2 to 3 times the size of this right here. I was basically going to build a replacement for my usual Sage station, but as I continued to build, it continued to grow out and got larger and larger and larger. But this still remains the basic area where if a large ship came by the dock with the station, it would dock up here. So let's go through these doors here. And you will notice that there are unfortunately no lights in this station because I'm currently getting 16 frames per second in a pretty much dark room, and I don't want to add any lights to lag it out. So expect a video probably a few months down the line. If they optimize lights a bit better, I'll go back through and light this whole area up. Anyway, this is basically the large main entrance area. I'd probably like to stick a dead space marker right here, but I currently don't have any of my custom mod stuff installed, so let's just head in here, and here we go. We got our ladder shaft here, and I'm just going to, for the time being, just imagine basically it would be an elevator, because they've removed them, and I don't know exactly what they plan to do in the future with them. So let's fly down until we get to the first floor. Right. Oh, I expected us to be there already. Far a bit farther down than I thought. Oh, there it goes. Here we are. Let me pop this door open and hop out here. And I do have doors on each floor. Now this is basically the lobby area for the upper main working floor. And if we come through this door over here, each of the large wings that shoot out from the center column of the station are actually the same. So I'm only going to be showing basically one of the four doors that come off of that room we were just in. And along this huge hallway here, the left and right sides are mirrored, and we have a bunch of these rooms here going down. And actually everything is sort of modular in design, so as I skid across the ground there, we basically have each of these support beams cutting everything into a module. And I basically connect the modules through this door, so we have these 3 modules here form one big research / workroom, and then basically these 2 modules form another one, and then the 2 here. And I actually sort of base the whole design of the inside off of that idea of a semi-modular setup. So if we walk into this research lab 1, this is the 3 module long one. You can see we instantly come down a stairwell. It gives us some headroom because we have the support beam right here. And overall, it's a pretty nice space. I haven't put anything in any of these. That way the station could be used for whatever you bloody well please. So if you wanted to put factory machines in here, you could do so very easily. Or even a refinery. I believe there'd be enough room to stick one in here and whatever you like. Anyway, each of these rooms do have their own nice view. A little hard to see. The idea was that you're not in this room to see out the window, you're in this room to work. So the windows are always elevated. So if we head back out here, this was actually also slightly inspired by the old GoldenEye map with, I've seen a lot of C-Nanners and friends playing on GoldenEye Source, and they have that old map with the gas tanks in the rooms, and you can see through the windows into those. So it was slightly inspired by the idea, hey, let's have windows looking in on the working area. Anyway, if we head down here now, we'll be able to head into another lab, and you can see basically it's the same design, it's just too wide now. So I just felt like I'd show to make sure you knew the difference, and then of course that's repeated on the final modular set there, and then of course mirrored on the other side here. So let's head back down to our elevator area. Oop, bit of skidding there when I turn off my jetpack if I'm moving at speed. And of course that room and hallway and everything we were just in is mirrored down each of these paths here. So just keep that in mind, that's what's down those. And if this you liked or felt so inclined, you could basically make this sort of a break area where there could be chairs or whatnot to relax and brainstorm and maybe, talk around the water cooler or the Xbox One if you actually thought that was a good presentation ages ago. So let's continue on down to the next floor. And this is actually the second type of work floor. That top one is basically unique. There are no other floors exactly like it. But these ones down here carry on the same principle of we have the 4 different wings shooting out, and they're actually missing their little windows that should be right there. But just imagine those are there, and if you go through these doors, again, you find yourself in a nice long hallway. Now, this one, again, is a modular setup, but instead of having windows and stairs here to be able to look into those work areas, it's just basically a, well, slightly more simplistic setup, really. So if we come into here, once again, you will see that the room is broken up into basically 3 sections, all combined into one larger one to give us a work area. And this is actually the type of modular setup that carries on down to the rest of the station. So let's just close this door here. Now we can carry on down to the next set of rooms, and they are actually just the same as the top floor, except for, of course, smaller with the second floor design. And again, it's 2 modules, so there you go, that's that. Is repeated again at the bottom, and then of course mirrored on the other side. So very nice, bit dark obviously in here, and for some reason those windows are missing. So let's carry on down to the bottom of the work area floors, because this is just another lab slash work area floor that can be set up for whatever you please. And here we go down. Yep, there it goes, I passed it again. Here, it'd be nice if they actually had elevators. Maybe they'll add them someday, considering they've removed ladders. Anyway, this one is actually even missing its doors for some strange reason, but you can see it's basically the same exact thing as what we were just in. Oh, you got doors here. And actually it is the same exact thing as what we were just in, it's just another floor down. So this is basically, well, the basic setup for a working area, or those rooms we were just in a second ago. Bit strange that I'm missing doors. Before I put this thing up on the Steam Workshop, I will have to go through and make sure I repair all that. So there we go. And let's close that and carry on down to the next floor. Oh, which we actually reached pretty quickly there. I was expecting to be floating for a bit longer. And yes, this is the storage and work floor, which actually, I call it storage and work. It's actually storage and reactor floor. And basically, if we come down here, we got all these doors and this slightly interesting setup. And we can look in here, and right away you see we got reactors on. Basically, they're designed to be accessed from the bottom to save space. And if we were to fly along here, you can see we basically have 2 rooms with, or 2 doors there leading to 2 reactors. And then the rest of the doors that led down that whole hallway lead to all of these storage containers. Which, if I was to fly down here, actually I don't think I can get under those. But if I was able to, you would be able to see very simply that, oh geez, that was a bit of a quick fall, that these doors over here lead under these storage containers for easy access. It's a bit silly to have them all open like that, but I felt like it would be nice to have them all open as in connected from left to right. Anyway, let's carry on down to the next floor. As you can see, this is basically a very, very utilitarian floor. No windows at all, it's just for those reactors and overall storage for anything this place needed. So let's hop back in here. Again, closing the door because I feel like I need to. And carry on down to the next floor down, which I should believe, yep, it's actually, you can see here the elevator shaft or ladder shaft or whatever you want to call it, ends. And this is a very, very cramped looking floor the second you step out, and it actually is. But this is also where we have some forks and stuff, interesting stuff here. And this is, of course, mirrored again in each of the main directions. So let's just go down this door first, and this actually leads into a little basic airlock here, which isn't that important, but it leads into the main airlock where you would get your spacesuits on or whatever you need to go outside of the station. And now if we pop open this door, you can see this leads into a large hangar bay here. And this hangar has its nice little stairwell looping down. And then it is actually a pretty decent sized one, I feel. Could be a bit bigger, but it fits well. And you can see where this is on the station. Now I'll actually go and point out the rooms I've just gone through on the station. And right above this hangar bay, where we just flew through, is this little crop out here. As you can see this bump out, that is actually where those reactors and storage containers all are. Then you can see it bumps up. And sort of this whole bulge out here is designated to those basic working areas that we were just in a minute ago. And then, of course, those are exactly the same as these ones here that run across. And then at the very top here, we have those first work areas I was showing you guys at the very top floor. Anyway, that's the whole work section, basically, of the station. It's at this point that the station actually has a bit of a break here, and you'll be able to see that basically the middle column where those elevators slash ladders that we were going up and down are all right here. They're basically under this point. Basically, when we first went into the station, we went in through those doors, and then we started going down the shaft right here, and it continues to lead all the way down to this point here, where we have those forks and divisions and stuff, which led into the hangar bay and all that. Now, if we were to go back in there, you'll see one of those forks, actually all the other forks, lead into more elevators slash ladder shafts that lead us down into this area, which is actually the civilian living area, basically. And the idea behind having them divided like this, even having the openings here, is that if this was a research station or any sort of other sort of workstation, and anything went wrong in any of these sectors up there, it could theoretically be severed and cut off all right here, and you wouldn't actually have to worry about compromising the civilian area. So let's head back down, or back up now, into the hangar and fly ourselves back into that dividing area there. So get over here, nice little plop down into the nice airlock. Again, sorry about no lights and all this stuff, but the lag would have been heinous considering I'm getting 15 frames per second in this area, and really I don't understand why it's rendering oh so much, because, well, in an ideal world I'd assume it would just be rendering the blocks that are right in front of me and not everything else through it, but it must be rendering other ones. Anyway, here we are, we're back in the fork again. Now, I like the ceilings here a fair bit, but at this forking point, these two doors actually lead basically to the same thing, which are more elevator stuff, which now lead down into the civilian area that I was just pointing out. So if we were to fly down here, and actually if we look down, you can see this shaft leads all the way down the entire civilian area. So if we were to get to right here, there's no doors on these, which I think is a bit of a flaw, but whatever. You can see here, this is basically the very first civilian floor area, the meeting commons area. I'd like to have a marker floating up there or something interesting. And if we were to head down one of these long hallways, you can see we get into basically these huge open areas, which are divided actually in the same modular fashion of 3, 2, 2. But they're, ooh, wow, I actually seem to have a little bit of an issue here. I'm floating. Apparently, I forgot to put a gravity generator in somewhere. Again, another issue I will fix before I put this up on the Steam Workshop. And you can see the idea of this would be, this large area would probably be something along the lines of just recreation. Maybe this would actually be the food court area. This is the sort of setup where it's all designed to be very open and relaxing, because this is where civilians would come to mingle and all that nonsense. If we carry on down here, it would probably be the same sort of thing. They're all designed that way. Whoever owns and runs the station could set it up however they please. And then down here, once again, just another section, and I'm thinking so they would basically convert one of these into a medical area and probably, you know, seal them off with, oh geez, let me hit the wrong button 1,200 times. You know, still dividing a wall such as that, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, let's carry on down to the actual civilian living areas now. And we'll hop back in these shafts, elevator shaft thingy-majigs here, and carry on downwards. Oh, that was actually a maintenance area, I believe you just saw. Yeah, this is a maintenance area that is supposed to be sealed off. This was taking me a long time to build. I've clearly missed a few things. Anyway, next floor down, you can see slightly lower ceiling because there isn't that much room behind them. And this is basically the setup that you'll see all the way down the rest of the station, where we have small singular module rooms basically for people to live in, and the idea is you'd have your bed here, you'd have your workstation here, and then these last two blocks right there, and there would be filled up with shower slash restroom equipment and your storage, basically all right there in some sort of special little module that I might make a custom model for in the future. And then you have a nice little view here, elevated window, that way you might feel you have some sense of privacy if there's a bunch of ships flying through, but you'd also still be able to get a decent view of the stars from laying in bed or working at your desk. Anyway, all these rooms are exactly the same, except for the room I was just in actually, and the very last room right here, because in these they have the exterior walls of the actual station set up, so they don't have the just sort of normal civilian metal that you have on the usual dividing walls. Anyway, oh, I'm stuck on the door. Anyway, if we were now to, by the way, this is another glitched up area where I have no gravity. I seem to have tested all this, but for some reason my tests are no longer valid. Anyway, if we were to carry on down, each of the floors below this one, and I believe there are probably 2 or 3 more floors like this. Here we go. They're all exactly the same as this one, hopefully with nothing I forgot, as silly as gravity generators. And if we carry all the way down, again, same thing there, and same thing here at the very bottom floor. It's all exactly the same. So now I'm actually going to head outside of the station, just point those out, and I think that's about it. And by head out of the station, I mean I'm going to cut a hole in this wall right here and just fly out. So there we go. And you can see these last, I think it was 3 sections right here. They're all sort of one big block because they're all the same exact setup, are just where people would sleep. And then, of course, this is a recreational area, and as I've shown earlier, that is the working area above this dividing line. All of that is working, basically. So I'm pretty happy with the station. Obviously, I've forgotten a few things, and stuff needs to be fixed out a bit before I put this on the workshop. But, yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the station. If I was to do it again, I'd probably change that to look a bit different instead of maybe a giant, egg/bin that's just sitting on top, but whatever. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.